Good morning. I am Messi Boko. This is a news brief. 5 children have been killed by a primary school building that collapsed on Saturday at the UK Bedlow Memorial Primary School. It's in Paiko, in the Paiko local government area of Niger State, according to a source who preferred to remain anonymous. The children who died were scavengers who went to pick up materials from a refuse dump by the fence of the school. The building that killed the children had been on the verge of collapse for 4 years, and efforts by the Niger State government to demolish the building were resisted by the resident. 2 of the children died on spot, while the other were rushed to the hospital for treatment and eventually died at the hospital. Tragedy struck on Saturday in Sokoto as the industrial fire at Boer Cement Factory resulted in death of 3 persons, while 3 others were injured. Other equipment and other valuables had also been destroyed by the inferno. The incident started on Friday morning. Combined teams of the federal and state fire service officers are still battling the blaze. An interim situation information indicated that the inferno is suspected to be caused by uploading fuel tanker. The Divisional Police Headquarters, Umugum, Owerri West local government area of Imo State, has been set ablaze by yet unidentified men. Eyewitnesses say the hoodlums also killed 2 police constabularies. The police public relations officer in Imo State, Mike Abatem, while confirming the incident, said no police officer was killed during the attack. Bandits have reportedly killed 5 and kidnapped 4 others in Dango Dawa, Lying, Mohatar, and Tabani in Bari Gariwa local government area of Kaduna State. The kidnappers within the week also abducted 17 others. This was contained in a statement on Saturday by Chairman Bernie Gawa for Security and Good Governance, Ibrahim Abubakar Nangari. The Kogi State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with the killing of Deeper Life Pastor Alimi Victor of the Deeper Life Bible Church in Oki local government area. Was abducted and allegedly hacked to death on March the 10th after church service. He was said to be on his way home from the church service at the Okato area along the Kabara Okene Road in Kogi. Then he was abducted and hacked to death by suspected assailant. The state PPRO, Williams Ayu, said the body of the cleric was found inside a pit along the route of his church a few days after he was declared missing. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, said former Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State was being quizzed over the alleged misappropriation of 42 billion naira belonging to the state. The former governor was being interrogated over alleged misapplication of 5 billion naira Shopee and 37 billion naira security vote withdrawn in cash. The commission had said that the former governor was in its custody undergoing interrogation after his arrest on March the 17th. Former National Chairman of APGA, Senator Victor Ume, on Saturday said former governor of Anambra State Chief Willie Obiano did wonderfully well with Anambra money. Ume said this while speaking on the arrest of Obiano by the EFCC. It was during the 80th birthday celebration of foremost Nigerian philosopher and President General of Alaigbo Development Foundation, Professor Uzodimma Nwala in Enugu. Ume expressed the confidence that Obiano would defend himself. According to him, the former governor used Anambra money judiciously and committed same to verifiable projects. A coalition of Ogun State students and youth have alleged the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, of criminal indictment. The convener of the group, Oladimeji Uthman, says the student body is in possession of documented evidence that shows that the governor was indicted in multiple felony cases in the United States of America. Uthman said the body has given Governor Abiodun 14 days ultimatum to provide unequivocal clarification and also call on State House of Assembly to commence independent investigation on the matter. Meanwhile, Special Advisor to the Governor on Public Communication, Remi Hassan, maintained that the allegation is not true, insisting that the government will allow concerned authorities already petitioned to do their job.
We hereby request that the Prince Adedapo Abiodun provides unequivocal clarifications within the next 14 days. Ignoring this noble request will leave us with no other choice but to take appropriate lawful means that will compel an action expected of a 21st century public office holder from him. We therefore demand that Prince Dapo Abiodun upholds our dignity as a people and to the honorable part. In the absence of this, we call on the Ogun State House of Assembly to immediately commence investigation of this matter with a view to invoking relevant sections of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to address this embarrassing scenario.
This is not true. And to that extent, we also will leave the agencies that have been so petitioned to do their investigative work on it, because that is what they are saddled with. Besides, the immunity clause in Section 308 does not foreclose investigation. So these agencies are well within their statutory obligations to investigate. And at that point, it will be our word against their own. But we can't continue to have a back and forth saying it's true, it's not true. Like I said, our immediate reaction is that it is not true. However, it is good that this petition has gone to the quarters saddled with the statutory responsibilities of investigation.
A political group under the aegis of Unified Northern Nigerian Youth Forum has called on the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Godwin Emefiele, to contest the 2023 presidency in order to take over from President Muhammadu Buhari. Spokesman of the group, Aliyu Muhammad, made the call at the press conference on Saturday in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital.
For the continuous consultations and call on Dr. Godwin Emefiele to contest for president in the upcoming 2023 elections. Gentlemen of the press, as you are all aware, in the past weeks, the Unified Northern Nigeria Youth Forum has been going around some states of the north for consultations with relevant stakeholders and called on Dr. Godwin Emefiele to contest for the president of Nigeria come 2023.
Members of the APC in Bayelsa State have been urged to put aside their differences and work towards winning the next governorship elections in the state. This call was made by the chieftain of the party, Reuben Wilson, who said the residents are waiting for the APC to take over power in 2023 and deliver the dividends of democracy to them. Our correspondent in Bayelsa State, Jesse S.C., completes this report.
The APC in Bayelsa State has been facing some internal crisis since its victory in the 2019 governorship election was nullified by the Supreme Court over pre-election matters. Despite the setbacks, Reuben Wilson has not lost faith in the party. He has formed a socio-political group, Reuben Initiative for Good Leadership and Accountability, which has been reaching out to aggrieved members and reconciling them ahead of time.
So my organization is to put in a good structure so that leadership can play out. That is why we say that we are here to bring all aggrieved members together. APC is one and we love ourselves. The leader of the party in the state, Chief Timothy Silva, he's a very good man and he's trying. The governorship aspirant then that won election is also saying that he's trying. Elekin Lokomru is the senator and former minister, is also trying. But what we are doing today is to bring everybody one food.
He also used the opportunity to call for the constitution of the NDDC Substantive Board so that the region can feel the impact of the commission.
I wonder why Mr. President refused to constitute the board. Now it's just one-man business. The minister and Aqua. Anything minister said is final. Anything Aqua said is final. Aqua doesn't even pick calls. Nobody is going there to beg money. The only thing we want him for him to pay the contractors, those jobs that were done, constructed and handed over to the commission, pay them. People are there fighting to get commission percentage before payment. So NDDC, for now, I don't think that commission is for Niger Delta or for people.
He advised the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs and the sole administrator of the NDDC to stop running the commission as their private company. Jesse Essay for PlusTvAfrica.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says there's a greater gain communities can derive when they notify the state government of any dispute they may have with oil companies operating in their areas. He stated this when members of the Ogba Traditional Council and stakeholders formally introduced His Eminence Mwachukwu Obiohan Namobi III, Oba of the Ogba land, to the governor and Government House, Port Harcourt. Governor Wike stated that the state government will no longer tolerate a situation where communities will block roads, stop operation of companies, and think the government will not intervene on their behalf. He insisted communities must at all times first report their grievances to the state government and not to resort to taking the laws into their hands.
It is not when you go and blow up the pipeline or the gas that you will get what you want to get. There's nothing wrong in you liaising with the government to make sure companies fulfill their promises and whatever it is provided in the memorandum of understanding. No community can do it alone. You need government to give you support. If you recognize the government, the first thing you will do is to let government know these are your grievances against companies operating in your domain. But not just to go and take the action and then say government will come, I will not come. Your business is the interest of your people and make sure that your communities are in peace.
One thank you for the peace that we enjoy in our area. You will recall that a while ago it was turbulent. It was difficult for anyone to lie down and sleep. But today, peace returned, and the very essence of the place has returned. We are not unmindful of the efforts you made, the architecture you put in place. Indeed, we don't know how to say that thank you properly. But however it is, we have spoken it, and I know your spirit.
Coming up next on our Street Views, Nigerians express concern over maintenance culture of government infrastructures. Take a listen.
Actually, I'm not satisfied with the way we handle government properties and equipments in the country. Take, for instance, if you look at our roads, when the roads are constructed, they are always good. We will celebrate, but in the next 2-3 years, come and look at the road again, it will be something else. There will be potholes, there will be this, and there will be all over the road. Even the street lights will no longer, you see the bulbs are not working again. And that is because we lack this maintenance culture in Nigeria.
They leave these things to totally decay just in order to allocate unnecessary cash to do them, such that they can siphon this cash at the end of the day. Now, so when they are supposed to maintain this thing, when the decay is very little, they don't do it. Do you get? So once something that's supposed to fix with very little cash, when they start seeing the decay, they don't do it. They allow it to totally collapse, so that they can allocate money such that it can benefit their pocket. That's what they do. So maintenance culture is basically zero. We pray that we don't suffer dearly for our negligence.
Government facilities are poorly managed, are poorly maintained because there are no checks and balances, and also because of the bureaucracy nature of governance. For you to even just get somebody to come and clean the place, you need to get an approval from one director from Abuja. One director needs to send approval to one. So the bureaucracy process is really one of the factors that is also affecting the maintenance culture of government facilities.
And to other parts of Africa, the death toll from migrant shipwreck of Tunisia on Friday has risen to 17 people, most of them Syrians, that tried to cross the Mediterranean to Italy, a civil protection official told reporters on Saturday. He said the Coast Guard recovered 5 bodies on Saturday after finding 12 on Friday. The search was still underway. At least 7 people were injured in the clash at the headquarters of the former ruling African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde. Police used tear gas and batons to disperse activities and activists from the delegation. The historic group that led Guinea-Bissau, a former Portuguese colony, to independence in 1974. And outside Africa, Russia is trying to enter United States at the Mexican border. Itugi are frustrated and they're not getting in like Ukrainians. This is despite abandoning their homelands over the Putin's administration invasion of Ukraine. U.S. officials have led dozens of Ukrainians through this week, but Russians remain in limbo. Some were seen camping on the pavement alongside a barbed wire border fence. They're defying warnings from Mexican authority to clear out. Over 3 million Ukrainians have fled since the invasion, according to the United Nations. Thousands of Russians have also left their homeland. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Saturday it would be a mistake to normalize relations with President Vladimir Putin following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Johnson said these are the Conservative Party conference.
A victorious Putin will not stop in Ukraine, and the end of freedom in Ukraine will mean the extinction of any hope of freedom in Georgia and then Moldova. And it will mean the beginning of a new age of intimidation across the whole of Eastern Europe, from the Baltic to the Black Sea. And if Putin succeeds in crushing Ukraine, it will be the green light for autocrats everywhere, in the Middle East, in the Far East. This is a turning point for the world. And it's a moment of choice. It's a choice between freedom and oppression. And I know there are some around the world, even in some Western governments, who invoke what they call realpolitik, and who say that we're better off making accommodations with tyranny. I have to say I believe they are profoundly wrong. And that to try to re-normalize relations with Putin after this, as we did in 2014, would be to make exactly the same mistake again.
When we're facing a tyrant like Vladimir Putin, the only thing he understands is strength. We need to stand up for our societies, and we must never let our guard down again. Our new trade and security deals are with our allies, not our opponents. That's why AUKUS is so important, helping our Australian friends acquire the nuclear submarines they need to defend their territory. That's why NATO is so important, and it's why we're strengthening it for a new era. The UK is the biggest European spender in NATO, and we're building up our support, our troops in Estonia and Poland.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Saturday that Brexit showed British people love freedom in the same way as Ukrainians fighting Russia's invasion. This comment were branded tasteless by opposition lawmakers and commentators. With Ukraine's ambassador to Britain's present, Johnson told the Conservative Party conference it was the instinct of British people like Ukrainians to choose freedom every time.
I can give you a couple of famous recent examples. When the British people voted for Brexit, in such large numbers. I don't believe it was because they were remotely hostile to foreigners. It's because they wanted to be free, to do things differently, and for this country to be able to run itself.
And in business news, the first batch of smart meters produced by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure will hit the market next week. The innovation, which was invented by NASENI, was successfully bidded for and won by private sector, which commenced mass production and is ready to push the product into the market. Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Professor Mohammed Haruna, who made the disclosure, said several of the agency's innovation have off-takers. He explained that the agency looks out for what the country desperately needs and seeks partnership with the private sector before embarking on projects that are always of international standard. And to some entertainment news, 11 years after the demise of the founder of Fuji genre of music, Sikiru Ayinde Barrister, some of his widows are mulling over remarrying, and they are unanimously agreeing that it was difficult to fill the vacuum the late Fuji Corona had left. Alja Kehinde Balogun, 50 years old, said that finding a good man after the demise of her late husband was tough, and sharing same view as Mrs. Oluwayemisi Balogun said if it was God's will for her to remarry, she will, regarded as the pioneer of Fuji and the genre of music. Nick Candy have all submitted offers to buy Chelsea. The deadline for bids was set for 21 GMT on Friday after the Premier League club had been sent up for sale by a Russian owner, Roman Abramovich. Chelsea fan Candy said that he had secured additional investment from South Korea and his bid is over £2 billion. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. Many thanks for watching. I am Messi Boko.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTvAfrica, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games, Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare. Sundays, 7 p.m. on PlusTvAfrica.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to PlusTvAfrica every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Diagnosed lack of happiness.
Happiness is not a given, it is a taking. And that brings me to the celebration of the Day of Happiness, thanks to the work done by the United Nations and its partner non-profit group, the Action for Happiness, which is made up of people from 160 countries with the ultimate goal to spread awareness that progress is not only about increasing bottom lines and economic growth, but well-being and human happiness as well.
Human happiness. Well, anyway, the International Day of Happiness is marked every year on March 20 to promote the idea that happiness is indeed a global human right, as well as being important to humanity.
Indeed. And so the celebration dates as far back as 2013, and that brings to mind the 24-hour music video of that song, remember, John? Happy?
Happy.
By the popular international artist Pharrell. It was phenomenal. And on that note, I'm super, super duper happy to welcome you to this extremely happy edition of the program. Helinoma Odele is still my name.
And I say,
as if I was
don't worry,
be happy.
Be happy, because today we shall share the secrets of happiness against the backdrop of dealing with anxiety.
Yeah.
This is Today with John and Helen, and I am John Senaya. It's a happy show for the entire family, so welcome.
Welcome indeed. Welcome. So happily, let's take a break to bring you some messages. When we come back, the meat of this show, which you must be a part of from start to finish, will be unveiled. Don't Don't go away. We'll be back in a jiffy.
What will you concede that he hasn't done well, considering his three-point agenda when he was coming into office?
There are some that he has succeeded to a large extent. There are some where he has succeeded very well. There are some that have question marks. Not for lack of trying, not for lack of effort, but because the challenges became multifarious and greater than was envisaged. No government solves all the problems in a country.
Join me every week on Plus TV Africa and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
So, thanks for being there. The show is Today with John and Helen, and today we mark International Day of Happiness. Helen has said I should keep a smile on my face. It's International Day of Happiness, and it's celebrated every 20th day of March across the globe.
And our challenge is to find the synergy between Muchabo, who is a humanitarian, among other things, and she will be answering our many questions on how to deal with anxiety.
Yes, and of course, finally, Fero Shonuga will be coming in with Michelle Obatoyibo on raising boys and raising girls, all in the search for happiness.
Wow, so it's a great show, it's a happy show,
yes.
And our first guest is on Zoom.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. You know, we have...
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Just confirming that we can hear you. But before we come over to you, Helen, we're talking about happiness.
Yes.
On today's program. So, anything to make you happy?
Everything is making me happy.
Like?
Because happiness is not expected from the external for me.
Okay, it's from inside.
Oh, yes.
So when you go out and there's no fuel...
Oh, no. I just smile through it.
You smile through it?
Because it's a fact of life.
And there's no power supply?
There's no power for supply. Diesel is going up so high. All foodstuff going up in prices. Insecurity is still there.
Yeah, but we are happy all the same.
Some of our leaders are doing some imprintable things, you know, fighting in the public here and there.
Yeah.
But all through this,
just be happy.
Just be happy.
Be happy.
Just be happy.
Okay.
You know, just be happy.
So
tomorrow will be better.
That's the message for us today. You know,
because
don't
we have
worry.
The gift of life.
Don't worry. Be happy. Okay. Yeah. Great.
And I'm excited. I'd like to hear the perspective of our first guest on what really is happiness and what makes her happy. All right. Okay. So welcome to the show once again. As we're looking at happiness as the theme for this year's International Day of Happiness, which is Back Happier. And our main focus is on dealing with anxiety. All right? And certainly the obstacle to happiness. First to join the conversation is Bukola Lamid, a mental health practitioner who will share her thoughts with us on this issue.
Yeah.
All right, and Bukola is already there. Once again, welcome to the show, Bukola.
Thank you very much for having me. So,
thank you.
Once again, happy International Day of Happiness.
Great.
That's what you call it, right?
Yes.
All right. So, you know, a lot of people talk about happiness and they don't really understand what happiness is. And I would like to talk from a psychological view, you know, because, you know, we need to look at it from the mental health view. I tell people every time that there's no health without mental health. If we don't look at a lot of things from a psychological view, we may not get the holistic view of what that particular thing is. So we are talking about happiness today.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't understand that our brain has what we call a negativity bias.
Okay.
So I'm going to come from there, you know, because you see a lot of people say, oh, happiness comes from within and all that, like what Helen rightly said now that it is not what is happening in the external environment that actually affects it's something that comes from within. But there's something within that is contesting the happiness that a lot of people don't understand. And it's called the negativity bias. So this negativity bias is in our brain and it evolved, to react much strongly to negative experiences than positive experiences. So we have been wired to naturally respond to negative experiences more than positive experiences. I give an example. If you have a lot of money, for instance, the mind will keep you having the thought of, oh, I have a lot of money. What the mind will focus on is, I need to have more money. Because that is how the brain has been wired. The brain doesn't accept that things are working. Because over the years, we have evolved on what we call the survival skills. In the many thousands of years ago, our forefathers lived on these survival skills, and it helped them then to be able to survive the environment. So they are running away from things that can kill them in order to look for what they want to eat. So most of the time they focus on the things that would want to harm them rather than the things that they are looking out for. I hope you understand.
Yes, but you know what?
That we think that we are all talking about.
You know what?
There's something called the negativity bias that is contesting our happiness. These things comes naturally to us. So it leads us to focus on the worst aspect of possible outcomes. People naturally, or does it happen to you, John and Helen?
It does.
Focus on those things that are not working. That's what your mind, focus on. And psychology helps us to understand that what you focus on expands.
This is quite interesting, But you know what? We're going to jump in at that point and try and build up towards happiness, because as far as we are concerned, happiness is at the end of the road. Happiness can be derived from a number of things. And what we're focusing on as a build-up is, let's look at anxiety. Anxiety itself, manifests itself in a myriad of ways: physical, biological, and sometimes maybe spiritual and sexual. How would you describe anxiety itself? Anxiety.
Anxiety, is a feeling of worry. You're nervous. I want to break it down in a layman definition. You are nervous. You are uneasy about something. Something that has not really even happened, but because you already have a bias of that thing not happening well. So it's like you are having, you're taking paracetamol ahead of an headache because you believe that you're going to have an headache. So you are apprehensive, you are worried, you have a strong desire that something is not going to work. There's a recent study around Nigeria that a lot of people are developing anxiety disorder because of the environment, because anxiety is a result of environmental factor. So a lot of people are looking behind their shoulder, over their shoulder. They don't want to follow somewhere, So anxiety comes because the feeling of worry has been set in place. You are nervous.
Okay.
You have this increased worry about something that is about to happen to you in a negative way.
So it's an emotion. Is it an emotion?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling?
It's a feeling.
Okay, great.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling of worry. You are just worried. You're just anxious. You're just nervous. And there's this uneasiness about something that is not certain. So that is what anxiety is in a layman definition.
Okay, so from your explanation, anxiety is bad. Is it positive or is it negative? Does it have any positive attribute?
Okay, so I'll answer that question this way. When you are anxious or you are feeling nervous about something, it's a messenger. Our feelings are messengers for us. They're telling us something is about to come. So you now have the power to convert it to negative or positive. Someone who is anxious about the examination, for instance, that feeling is telling you, oh, you have an exam coming forward. So you cannot necessarily say it's a bad or good negative, bad or positive feeling. What makes it bad is the approach, how you respond to that feeling that is coming to you. So it's either you respond that, oh, I need to read, my exams are coming. That's a positive approach. Or you are just unnecessarily worried. Oh, my exams are coming, and you're not doing anything about it. So you have addressed it in an unhealthy way. Okay. So we have the choice to, address issues. There is nothing like bad or good emotion. A lot of people misconstrue that fact.
Okay.
Anger is neither a good or bad emotion. It depends on how you address anger. Anger is telling you a message that something is about to be taken away from you, and you are angry. So what do you do with anger? So if you are aggressive about it, that means you are taking anger in a negative way.
Yeah.
But anger can come and send you a message and say, "Oh, I don't want this thing," and you address it in a healthy way.
So
that's the same
I
thing
like
with
the way
anxiety.
I like the way you've described it as a. Did you say it was a messenger?
Messenger.
It's a messenger, and I think what you're trying to tell us here is that it helps us to determine whether to fight or to flight. So that's the fight and flight syndrome that we've heard so many times, by professionals like you. So now, could you? Yes.
Not doing anything at the end of the day.
Yes. So would you, with some people, achieving a high level of anxiety is quite effortless. It's like, the moment they see a little trigger, the rate at which they get to the height of anxiety is so quick. Why is it so? Are some people more resilient, or what is it? How?
Okay, so it depends on personality. We have different personalities. Every human is not the same. The way you address issues are different. And like what Helen said the other time, external factors, external stimuli, your environment, the way you were brought up, much more about upbringing. How have you been able to cope? What coping skills do you have? Do you have assertiveness skills? Are you emotionally intelligent? How do you interpret the situation that is coming towards you? Will go a long way in how you want to address it. So who are you? Personality goes a lot, generally we talk about people who are extrovert, people who are introvert. Some people are just generally, they see things in negative way, no matter how you want to, encourage them. That is just their personality. They don't see anything good coming to them. Even if they have everything in this whole world, they're already anxious that those good things are going to be taken away from them. And you will see people who don't even have anything, and they are happy, so to speak, that they are fine. So it's a state of mind. It's a state of mind, and that is what we have to be very careful of. Your personality, who are you, before those things comes into place. And I give kudos to Nigerians on this, because sometimes when issues happen, Nigerians have a way of downplaying it, and they're trying to find a positive way to navigate it. But the issue about it is that most times when you repress your emotions and you try to downplay it, emotions don't go away until you address it. So that's one of the issues that we have as Nigerians. So we try to shy away from it, we try to mask it. It's like we're trying to ice a cake that's already bad. The cake is bad, but we want to put butter icing, and but the fact remains that the cake is bad. So at the end of the day, when you eat that, it worries you.
You almost answered my next question when you referred to us Nigerians and how, we take situations that are constantly in our faces and constantly trying to put us down. What are the dangers of constant or maybe endless state of anxiety?
A lot of people don't know that too much of positivity is toxic. So the world has been orchestrated to have a balance of a bit of negative and positive to make it balance. But we live in an environment where we have been bombarded or conditioned to believe that everything has to be positive. And that is not how life or nature has orchestrated it. There is a good and there is a bad, and it has to be balanced. But we have been conditioned to believe that, everything, there's a tagline where we say, pardon me for saying that it is well. And I tell people that, it's a cliche. When you say it is well, you're fine, you're trying to look at it from the positive side, but what exactly are you doing about it to make it to look, to feel well? It is not well, but we are hoping that it is well. But people just say it is well and they leave it at that. And that is one of the common thing about Nigerians. That's the way we have been wired. We have been wired to look at things from the very positive way. And when you are too positive, it becomes toxic. So we need to understand that high level of positivity can become toxic. We need to come to a place where we reduce our expectation. We have what we call expectation management. Manage your expectation. As much as you want something to go well, have it at the back of your mind that if it doesn't go well, how do you address it?
Okay.
But we have not been trained to have this, alternative mindset that, okay, what if this doesn't go well? How do I handle it? So we always think about everything must go well. And when it doesn't go well, we don't have the resiliency or the mindset to address it when it's not going well. So we crash.
Yeah.
So that is how it happens most of the time.
This is getting really
Talking
interesting.
about the plan B and the shock absorber.
Yeah, I know this is getting really interesting because now let's call a spade a spade. Things are hard.
True.
In this environment, especially, and if you lose it, if you are not able to manage your anxiety, you could go mad. Mental disorder could quite easily set in. Now, in your opinion, at what level of anxiety do you think we are as a people? Right? Are we managing it well, or have we even crossed the threshold? Are we more mad people than sane?
So I would answer this with a definition. World Health Organization conceptualize mental health. So and the answer to that question, you're going to pick it from me. What is mental health? Mental health is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes their own abilities. That's number one. They can cope with the normal stresses of life. So what it means that there will always be stresses in life. You have to understand that the world doesn't come without stress. But the ability for you to cope to a large extent is you have a good, that means you have a good well-being, and you can work productively and fruitfully. A lot of people are on the edge already. They have passed that threshold of working productively. They are just, everybody's just working. It's just like we're just running on a show, and before we know it, a lot of people are going to break down. A lot of us are not able to make healthy contribution even to themselves and their community. That's a good mental health. So, what is happening right now? Are we contributing positively? Something happened recently where there was a physical whatever in the community, if you know what I'm saying. And I went to social media and I was seeing a lot of responses where people were actually, accepting what is not normal. And people are hailing a particular person and saying, oh, yes, it is good and all that. And that is giving me a message as a psychologist that there's something wrong, because we need a lot of emotional intelligence. You cannot respond negatively to a negative situation. It shows that you have low level of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is to address issues, and you are not hurting yourself or others. But right now, a lot of us are hurting ourselves.
We need to barge in at this point. Our time is well spent. But before we let you go, many people are watching this show today, and they are where we are talking about, at the point that we're talking about. So what would be your last word for them? Like, are there support organizations? Are there support groups?
Because it is difficult for someone else to help you to address your issues. You need to accept your issues first. Am I anxious? Because you see, a lot of people are masking, and they are not living up to their reality. So the first thing, as every Nigerian, is understand where you are right now. And you have to be real with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. You don't need to mask your emotions. Like I said, emotions are messengers, and there are no good or bad emotions. It just depends on how you are responding to it before you even have to seek help. Because you need to understand that you need help first. A lot of you don't know that they need help. So first of all, have a self-awareness. Where am I? How am I dealing with what? Can I cope? If I can't cope, then I need to find somebody who will help me to cope. There is no big deal in reaching out to people for help. Please speak out, because a repressed emotion becomes very toxic and dangerous.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This topic is not a 20-25 minute topic, definitely. We would find time to bring you back for a more robust outing. But meanwhile, thank you so much for your time. And we believe that we can achieve happiness irrespective of the obstacles of being deliberate, by being deliberate and contented. Contentment really is it for me. And the trick includes...
Intentional.
Yes.
Intentional.
Intentional. Yes. We
Happiness
need to be
doesn't come
intentional.
directly to you. You create it. You have to be intentional about happiness.
Yeah.
It doesn't come naturally.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, John.
So, we really do appreciate, our guest's shared experience. We want to thank her once again, and we hope, like Helen said, that we'll have her back on the show very soon. Well, please don't go away, because we intend to bring closer home the real stuff, dealing with anxiety. We'll see you in a moment.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
And so we are extremely happy that you're still with us. If you just joined the conversation, we welcome you to a very special celebration of the International Day of Happiness on Today with John and Helen on Plus TV Africa. Indeed, happiness is a human right. And joining us right about now is the founder, Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons Africa. She's also a business brand strategist, a humanitarian, an ambassador, and special needs advocate. She's a mother of 3 beautiful children, 2 with autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah, and she's my friend.
And she's my friend too.
So our guest is also an accomplished Rotarian, right? Who, with her outstanding effort and achievements, has to her credit many international awards.
Too many.
Too many. Indeed, too many to mention here. She is CEO, Tech Hub Holdings, and National Director, African Pageants, this and that. Just join us in welcoming Sylvia Mora Mochabo. Sylvia, I got you in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really I should let people know that Sylvia just came in from Kenya. She is Kenyan, and she's on a visit to Nigeria.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for taking time to be on the show with us today as we celebrate a very special day and mark the International Day for Happiness. Happiness is a very good thing, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It is.
So your job will be to share with us a bit, share with us the bite of anxiety, which we have talked about in the first segment, and how to deal with it, and bring happiness on board. All right, John, this is a show of Rotarians. I'm in the background, so please.
Never mind, we'll consider your application.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, Sylvia, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm quite elated. You see, when I met Sylvia about 4 years ago, yeah, the first thing that struck me was how she was able to carry on with all the challenges which she explained to us at that time. 3 big boys, 2 of them with special needs. I must confess.
My firstborn is turning 16. My secondborn is 12 and a half. Then the lastborn is 10.
All right.
Yes.
So you have all
and
of
the 10 are the ones who
with the last.
So your hands are so full with boys.
Yes.
And yet you feel that this topic is one you can talk about.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, Sylvia, what is your interpretation of anxiety?
Anxiety, I believe, is a reaction of our environment mostly and the things that we go through. And at some point, it can be a choice. Let me give you an example. Now that I'm here in your big city, Niger, Lagos, the first thing, like the traffic, you know, we have a choice. You're seated in traffic, and it can be overwhelming. But how we react to it, you can choose two things. Pop up the volume, enjoy the music, look out through the window, count how many cars there are, what's the latest, you know, and etc. Appreciate that. We call them in Kenya Mama Mboga. That is the small shops by the roadside. You know, what's new, are things painted, you know, appreciate the environment. Or you can get pissed off.
And
you
scream.
can start, screaming at everyone. You know, have that road rage we always see. And that, you see, it's the hormones that we will activate, you know. And then, let's say you are going to a meeting. You know that anxiety will start building. Oh my God, I'm going to get late. Now you're blaming everyone. At that time, I tell you, you will hate your government, even everyone around you. But then, as I said, it's a choice. Same to happiness. We're celebrating.
It's a choice.
Yeah, we're celebrating International Happiness Day. It's a choice to be. Okay, it's not a choice. Sometimes we are sad. We should have to acknowledge our emotions and we go through them. But there is a point in time we have to appreciate that happiness is not a destination. It is a journey.
It's a journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of us want to be like, when I be happy. No, you live for now. This moment is what you
So
have.
be happy.
Be happy now.
No, just be happy.
Even in the circumstances, choose what you're going to look at it. It's either half full, half empty.
Wow.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
All right, the good books, I remember now as you're talking, says we should count our blessings one after the other. And when we do that, we will really, really acknowledge the plenty that are blessings, you know, rather than on the other side, when you talk about the cup being full or, you know, being half empty. So anxiety is best described as an emotion, like you said. Now, tell us exactly how you feel when you have your bouts of anxiety. You know, is it nervousness? Is it fear? Is it confusion? What it is, especially with the extremely brilliant job that you're doing with what ordinarily would keep any human being
on their toes. Anxiety comes, and like I said, it's how we react to it. There are those days you're more anxious. And remember, when you get special needs children, it's not something you sign up for. There's no manual of how you're going to navigate through it. So it's our reaction to the situation. I'll give you an example. On top of having autism and ADHD, there is the component of epilepsy as a comorbid condition on autism. And both of my kids have it. At least one I know is triggered by, is febrile. That means when they get high fevers, it can happen. But then my middle child, who's more severe, it happens any day. But then the first times, like the first time I saw it, it's that all that emotion. There is fear. There is that confusion. There is the greatest is, yes, that nervousness. What do I do? Where do I go from here? But what I said, how we react, keep calm and acknowledge the situation. This is something I had to learn over the 10 years of being a special needs parent, because it becomes to a point when I will panic. But what can I change? What can I not change? How do I embrace this situation that I'm dealing with right now? I already learned the patterns. It happens mostly early in the morning. The side effect is now when it gets to 4 a.m., I'm always on the edge. Like I can hear even a pin dropping, you know? Because you see, convulsions is something that unless it comes with sound or some gag, because you see they're struggling to breathe. So you have to be really, really keen. You know, so you learn to also adjust. Otherwise, I'd never sleep. I would never sleep. So those are some of the amendments that you have to have. And then learn and educate yourself. What are your triggers? Then now, how do you handle them? When if you have an anxiety disorder, because there is something like that. There is anxiety disorder. Or sometimes you go through things that traumatizes so much that anything close to that experience always gets you on your toes, right? So after that, you need to learn to calm yourself down and look for the solution for that moment. Like, what do I do for me as a person to just regulate my anxiety?
You've used the word learn a few times. So this is like learning on the job.
Yeah.
It's like learning on the job.
Like I said, there's no manual.
They're learning every day.
Now, we anxiety being an emotion, you know, we talked about it before you came in. It could be negative or positive, right? Do you swing between these moods too?
Let's say positive. I'll give you an example. when I went for Miss Africa competition. It was my first time ever. I had not rocked a ramp before. But then now you're like, all the things you see on TV, you're like, what questions are going to be asked? It's so different, you know? Then there is that expectation of like, I hope I will win. Sometimes we want to win. You have worked so hard to get something.
Yes.
But then you're also anxious, like, will it go my way? You said something about expectations earlier.
Yes.
I always tell myself, great expectations make frustrated men. So that level of anxiety because of anticipating something can also be your downfall.
Can be,
you know? Because you see that level of anxiety, like when you're walking the ramp, let's say for those competitions in pageants, you can trip and fall because your whole body is shaking, because your body reacts also to the emotion.
Yes.
The extent of your emotions also causes physical side effects, because you'll find we will be shaking, you know, and people start fidgeting to cope with that anxiety. And that is also something else that we see also with our special needs children when we are adjusting. Because even when they are anxious, imagine the ones who are nonverbal and they can't communicate.
Yeah.
Right? They get anxious, they're trying to communicate, they can't, so they get frustrated. Then they develop behaviors. And those behaviors to us as a general community come out as bad behaviors. We start branding them as this child is indisciplined, as this child is entitled. But we're not imagining ourselves. Imagine you can't talk, you're trying to communicate. You know, how frustrating and how much anxiety that can cause you. So adjusting also our environment can really, really contribute to how we cope with some of these situations in life.
Adjusting.
Yeah, and because we are in this season celebrating International Day of Happiness, I wonder what factors that you have realized. Anxiety would be one of them. What other factors contribute to stealing away our happiness? And how do we, how do we get it back?
I think as human beings, we wallow so much on negativity, allowing yourself to go through the emotions. There are those days I'm sad. There are those days I wish away autism that I would have a normal. When I'm with my friends and we have children of the same age, I see their children being able to do all these things and I'm like, I wish my baby could do that. You know, it pains you, but I don't dwell on that. I appreciate the child for who they are, and that's what makes the difference. You embrace what it is. You focus on the ability and not the inability of that person.
You know, Sylvia, I've been trying to decode you for a few years now. maybe I'll succeed in doing that today. Now tell me, it looks like you are your own personal therapist. In the sense that you've been able to engage yourself in so many activities. You just talked about the pageant, beauty pageant. You've won that several times. In her CV, I think there was something about Andy speaks for
special needs.
Special needs. That's another. What are the other things that you do to? What are you even doing here? What are you doing here in Lagos?
Oh, that's a good question. So I am a very ambitious person. That let me tell you, and I follow what God tells me. Okay. So I've always run awareness. You know, our lessons. This is what I believe. We don't live for ourselves. All right. Even a tree doesn't eat its own fruit. It doesn't use its shade for itself. The lessons that we get through when God gives you something. What's the purpose behind it? And I remember this was one of my greatest questions to myself. Why? Why 2 kids? Why do I have to go through this? But what I got out of it is like, I wouldn't be the leader in the disability space right now if I hadn't gone through it. It's because I can understand my next mother, what they're going through. When a parent says, I can't afford diapers, I know. When they say I'm pained because my child is doing this or has this behavior or can't talk, I know and I understand the pain. So when I stand as a leader in that space, and even in the beauty pageant, that's what I champion for, inclusion of persons with neurodevelopmental disabilities. It's a very small and new space, but yet it's not small, it's big. We're talking about 1 is to 54 in the autism spectrum, but it's because of the culture and our environment that we have shunned them. They can't come out. All right. So that is one of the things that drives me. Now you want to decode me. That's my driver. And my babies are my teachers, because without going through that journey, pain wasn't in vain. So I am just raising awareness. That's why I'm here, because World Autism Awareness Day is on 2nd of April around the corner. Okay. And we are doing it in Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and Ethiopia.
Awesome.
Yes. So that's why I am here.
Awesome.
Yes.
Happiness, they say, is contagious.
Yes, indeed.
And as you give it to the world, we can see you radiating it 247, I want to believe. And it's not the absence of challenges and difficulties. You know, it's a choice to take it, bring it on.
Bring it.
Bring it on.
Rather than
Bring
run
it,
away
yes.
from it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
And our love to your kids.
Nah, I will
love
send
to your
them.
children.
I will send
And
them
thank
for
you.
sure.
Well, quite a whole lot to take home, I must say. And thank you again for helping many of our viewers answer a lot of the questions, you know, that they probably have put together since we sent out the promo that you would be on the show. We are resolved to stay happy by working on our hormones, you know, with exercises. We have an exercise segment on this show. Okay. And I'm sure that is something that also gets a few people happy and going. All right. So, our exercise segment is next?
Yes, our exercise segment is next. We've done Sylvia Mora Mochabo Decoded. So now you can go to the gym, and after the gym, Ferron will be here with her guest, Michelle Obatoimbo, to look at raising boys against raising girls.
Wow.
So let's head for the gym first.
Thank you again.
And do be a part of it.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the fitness section of this program. Again, we are Alpha Fitness Studios, and my name is Dolly, and this is Elvis. See our hands, we have dumbbells in our hands, but if you don't have any, that's fine. You can get 2 bottles of water, or bottles of water, you fill them with sand or something or anything you can hold at all, so you can use it for this workout. Okay, we put our dumbbells down first in a safe space, and then we do our dynamic stretch. Deep breath in, and out, and in, and out. 2 more, in, and out. Breathe it in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Good, shoulder rolls back, let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5, and forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's reach over, stretch, other side. 2, 3, let's do 8, 4, 4 more, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll down. Let's go. 1. Let's do 8, 2. Good. 7 and 8. Good job. Knees up. Let's go. 1 and 2. And 8. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Elvis, are you ready for today's workout?
I'm ready.
Always. Are you ready? So let's go. Like before. Now we're going to go into jumping jacks. Let's go. If you can't jump, just step out for me. That works for me. 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Next workout, you're going to kick with your left leg and punch down. All right, are we ready? Let's go. Kick, punch down. Kick, punch down. Very good. Kick and down. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Next one, turn your feet out and sit down. Yes? And we're going to do jab crosses. Right hand first. Let's go. 1, 2. Very good. 3. Make sure you rotate. Go, go, go. And rest. Good job. Next one, we're going to step back and bring the weight to our shoulders, okay? Ready? Let's go. Step back. And rest it. Good job. Now, working upper body, bicep curl, lateral raise. Got it? Let's go. In and out. That's one. Shoulder level is fine. Don't go higher than your shoulder level. Very good. One more. Yes. Very good. And now, this is a hard one. We're going down into a plank position, and we're going to pull up. Let's go. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull. Pull. Now, if you can't do this, put your knees down and just pull it up. Two. Last one. One. Very good. Nice. We're going into that kick. Now, we did the left leg before. We're going to kick with the right leg now and punch down. Ready? Let's go. Ha. And down. Good. Ha. And down. Elvis, are you there? One more. Yes. Nice. Okay. We're going to sit down. Turn your feet out. Sit down. Squeeze those abs. Jab, cross. Are you ready? Let's go. Jab, cross. Make sure you rotate. Get those abs in there. Come on. Punch harder. Harder. 3, 2, 1. And rest it. Down to the floor. Last one. Renegades. Let's do it. Plank position. Let's go. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Remember, you can put your knees down and work. One more, and rest it. Let's stay down. Let's stay down. Sit back down and relax. Left hand across your chest and stretch. Very good. Yes, other side. Right hand across your chest and stretch. Nice. Good job. Hands above your head. Clasp. Push to the ceiling. Nice. Bring it down in front of you. Push, push, push. Stretch out your back. Awesome. Excellent. Left hand down and reach over. Stretch the sides. Very good. Right hand down. Reach over. And breathe while you're here. Good job. Now we're going to sit and stretch the quads here. Let's go. Stretch the quads. Pull that leg back. Very nice. And relax. Other side. Legs together. Grab that foot there and pull behind. Good job. Very good. 2 more stretches. Legs in front of you. Grab your toes or wherever you can reach. Once you're there, drop your head. Good. Oh yes, this is a good stretch. Lovely. And the last one, soles of your feet together and bounce. And relax. In 10, 9, 4, you're not bouncing, Elvis. 3, 2, and 1, and relax. Oh, super awesome, guys. Elbow Elvis, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you got a good workout. Until the next time, bye-bye.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, you know, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, you know, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
and my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Niger, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
It's still International Women's Month, and in keeping with the spirit of the month, I'm talking to one of the women I know who continues to smash the glass ceiling in a male-dominated industry. But no, I'm not talking to her about how she's doing this. I'm talking to her about what I believe is the foundation of everything we're talking about. How we raise our children, particularly our boys, because agree or not, to achieve gender equality, equity, or parity, we need the men to get on board. And the easiest way to do this is to raise them with the right foundation. And in my humble opinion, that's the biggest missing piece of the puzzle. Gender balance has two main genders, male and female. And until we understand that we need to change our mindset and perspective regarding how we raise our children, who will become the leaders of tomorrow and today, we may take a little longer to get to our desired destination. So let's delve right in. But let me start by introducing my guest, Michelle Obatoyibo. Michelle Obatoyibo is currently the General Manager of Deepwater Operations at Chevron Nigeria. Her career in Chevron has spanned roles in Nigeria and the United States of America, where she has held numerous technical and management positions. Over the years, she has served as Chevron's Women's Network sponsor in multiple locations in her organization, while mentoring and sponsoring a diverse range of females. As an engineer who has very often either been the only female or one of the very few female engineers at university and early in her career, she's very passionate about driving transformational change in the workplace that will result in advancement of female leaders. Michelle is married with 2 teenage sons, and she enjoys a myriad of activities. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
It really is an honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Farah. I'm actually honored to be here. I'm so glad you had me over, even though...
I twisted your arm. Michelle is also my auntie and my mentor. So I have lots of women who helped shape me to become the woman I am. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
It really is. So let's delve right in. International Women's Month.
Yes.
Breaking the bias. But like I said earlier, the bias has 2 parts to it, male and female. So what are your views on achieving gender balance?
Okay, so I guess, I guess 2 things. First of all, maybe I'm still somewhat uncomfortable with the terminology gender balance. I think about gender equity. And you're absolutely right. For a long time, and equity is really about how can we level the playing field so that we get the best people to the table.
Yeah.
All the time. It's not about we want to get only women or we want to get only men. We really ultimately want the best people at the table. But to do that, we have to say, where are the systemic barriers that are stopping us from getting maybe a particular gender to the table? And we take those out. And when we do that, then truly we end up with high quality organizations, leaders, countries, because we've brought truly the best people to the table.
Okay.
So we have the systemic barriers, and we also have cultural barriers, as you know, we're here in Nigeria. And the first thing we need to break away from is
food.
Fortunately for me, I have 2 boys, so they both have to help out. Otherwise, nothing gets done. And I think we have to move past some of those traditional roles. It's for 2 things. It's it sometimes suppresses people from being their best, but also, actually, what you're doing is you're teaching men that they have to rely on somebody to take care of them. So the same way that in some cases women have ceded over their financial freedom to men, men have ceded over their caretaking to women.
That is so true.
And so what ends up happening is you have men who can't take care of themselves. And, you know, and what good is that to anybody?
That is so, so true.
And so ultimately, when we think about raising children, let's think about this. We are raising future parents, friends, co-workers, CEOs, presidents, hopefully. And what do we want them to be, to bring? We're sitting here all the time. We all complain about one thing or the other in, you know, this leader or this person or this friend. How are you raising your child to not be that sort of person?
Exactly. So
that's the question.
Exactly. So I'm going to ask you the question. But before I ask you the question, I think your shoes are dope. Like, please. They're like the coolest thing. Wow. Okay, let me not digress. How are you raising your sons to be the future of tomorrow?
So, you know, in an ideal world, but we're not in an ideal world, but in an ideal world, really, it's not about how we're raising sons. It's how you're raising a child, regardless of gender.
Yeah, true.
You know, you really should be focused on, first of all, what is this person's strengths? And how can I instill the right level of confidence, values, but also resilience to be able to add value in future? And you're measuring each person against their own potential. So, you know, I think a lot of times we tend to try and raise people. We're thinking about somebody else's child did this, or I did this, or XYZ did that. No, think about what they will excel at, and give them the confidence to be able to achieve it.
Very true. Very, very true. And how do you then also being raised to be advocates for women's causes? So how do you do that? How do you ensure that they are advocates for tomorrow?
So, you know, I think it still goes back to the values that you put in them. The values of treating people with respect, treating all people with respect. You know, it's